Hey folks, this is part 2 of our Virtuous Influencing series that we've got going on here. We give you 5 postures, influential postures. In our last episode, we got 5 more for you today. And my favorite one is actually going to be revealed in this one. So if you want to find out what that is, stick around.
Yes, it's a good one. You guys are going to want to stick around.
Super powerful. All right, we'll see you in there. Hey, welcome back to the Catholic Coaching Podcast. My name is Matt.
And I'm Erin.
And we are your Catholic coaches here for the next 45 minutes. We're continuing on with a discussion we started last week on how to influence virtuously, how to help others change for the good while honoring their freedom to choose how they're going to respond.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I love that saying. Well, I love it. And I hate it too. At the same time, it's hurt people. And then, but I also heard like a rebuttal to that: healed people heal people.
Yeah.
And when we are in these influential roles, we do have a little bit more authority. Just like when somebody allows us to influence them, like they're giving some authority over to us, and we have a responsibility with that. So if we are not doing our internal work first as the influencers, as the ones who are influencing, we might be perpetuating some of our own wounds, our own hurt.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say that because I think that's really powerful. I think so often people will hear influence and they'll be like, tell me what to do. And what we're here to say is like, no. Here's a disposition, an actual internal disposition, a mindset, a posture of how to approach people and how to love people in that process.
Yeah. And be an influencer, but do it through the impression, the witness that you are, coming from like a really self-aware place, recognizing that the goal isn't to change somebody else's behavior, because newsflash, you can't, right?
Yeah.
Something that's outside of our control.
Sorry.
But recognizing that there are things that you can control, right? You can always change how you show up, and it may seem on the outside kind of powerless, or almost counterintuitive to adopt some of these influential postures we're talking about in the series. But quite frankly, it's actually the fastest way to see change happen in the other person.
And it's freedom, like on your part. And so at the end of the day, great. You're just doing what you can do.
And you become a better person then through the process here as well. I like holding the space for that. It's not just about changing the other person's behavior. The Lord's inviting me to transform in some way as well.
Yeah.
Right. And so again, it shifts that focus of what's in my control, what I can do to show up really in a loving posture towards a person, and really stay in a way that honors their freedom to choose how they're gonna behave, and values they're gonna have going forward. Yeah.
And we'll talk about this a little bit throughout it, but just that power of prayer in those moments of surrender, and especially if it's somebody who you really love and you're like acknowledging that they're making terrible choices, like that pain can be brought as a prayer. And we'll talk about it in greater detail.
Yeah, that's thanks for bringing that up. Yeah. Folks, ignore these things and you will find yourselves having the opposite effect on people. Less influence and actually more repelling, right? And more frustration on your part. And
so nobody wins.
Again, these are things that we've learned over the years, coaching other people, and
training coaches too,
going through doing this work on our own. So we're happy to share them. Last week, we had 5 things that we gave you, 5 dispositions. You can go back to listen to that. But just a quick review. Those are compassionately curious, benevolently boundaried. I had a tough time saying that last week too. Fearlessly free, confidently candid, and impartially inviting. We're going to give you the final 5 this week. And really give you some mindsets that make it easy to enter into these super virtuous influencer dispositions.
Yeah.
Ready to go?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Starting off, you want to start with this next one, humbly honest.
Humbly honest.
Humbly honest, to stick with the alliteration. I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
A little disappointed.
So humbly honest. Yes, I wanted to go first because I feel like this is, I don't know, like I don't want to call it a hack, but I do believe it's like an immediate connection with people. If you're feeling maybe a disconnect in the conversation, it just goes right into it. And you get to grow in virtue. So everybody wins.
Yeah. So being humbly honest means that you're willing to admit your own limits, your own mistakes, your own uncertainty, and even like where you need to grow yourself. And this is something that just builds that instant rapport between you and the person. You step out of kind of the authority figure.
Yes.
Right?
Or the teacher.
And there's something about you just come alongside.
You're more of a witness at this point. Yeah.
It's the equivalent of, seeing somebody, perhaps they're in the hole, the proverbial hole, right? And standing on the outside and being like, do this to get out of here, right? Versus climbing down the hole with them and being like, hey, I've been down here with you before. It kind of sucks. This is what I did to get out. Can I help you?
Yeah. Yeah. So the mindset that kind of keeps people from being that way is I've arrived, or I should have arrived already. Like I should be further along. I should be able, it's almost like a subtle way of being like, I should be perfect, in order to help others. I've coached a lot of coaches on this, and I've actually been like, if you want to be humbled, become a Catholic coach, because the Lord will literally either you'll get coached on it that morning or you'll go through your journal and the Lord will coach you on it that morning. And then an hour later, you'll be coaching somebody on the same thing. And it's just there to remind you that like, no, you're going through this too. Like, and that's, it's better that you're going through it too, because it's fresher in your mind, and be willing to say that to the person. Nobody wants to be coached by a robot, by a perfect person either. I mean, good luck having them share anything that's real with you if you're perfect as a coach.
Yeah.
But I also see this really show up in parenting, with Parenting Avila, who she goes really hard on herself, like if she's not perfect at something, or I don't know, she gets disappointed. And it's so healing, I've noticed, for her. And she pauses and almost just like refocuses on even just coming together with me when I go, I know exactly how you feel. I remember feeling that way when this happened to me as a kid. Like I was just like, I would put myself in her shoes and just be like, I get you. Like, I totally get you. And there's just, even just that, I get you. Or I went through this today, I get it. I get that you're disappointed. I was just disappointed this morning. And so there's just something that when you stop saying I need to have arrived. I need to be the teacher. I need to be the one who knows everything. I've made it already. It takes pressure off you. And also it actually helps build rapport with the person who you are helping.
The spotlight's also on you too in those moments, right?
Yeah.
And helping the person is becomes more about some sort
your
of
own ego.
Yeah, your own ego.
Yeah.
I had the right answer for this person.
Yep. Yes.
And this is one that I struggle with, and had a recent humbling experience where I taught a class. It didn't necessarily go the way that I had hoped it would go. I certainly had some disappointment with it. But there was this a humble disposition, a humiliation, I would say, that happened with it, and underneath it was this thought that I thought I'd arrived at being, the teacher. Like, I'm a great teacher, and great teachers never, they never miss it on a class. They never, strike out. And this is just kind of one of those things, or at least my perception was like, I had some regrets in some of the decisions I made. So, also I think it was painful.
I think it's like also making it about you. Like you're making it about your identity when really you're just oh, that was a miss. Like maybe this was off, or this was like, it's not making excuses, but it's like, there's other answers besides it just being you being broken,
Yep.
Okay. So some mindsets that you can kind of play around with just to help grow in this honesty and this humility is, when have I struggled with this in my life? And when have I recently struggled with this? And how am I still struggling with this right now? Like, even if it's not the same exact color as what they're going through or whatever, the same exact thing, but like, how can I relate to them in this time?
Yeah. I also like the question, where's the Lord inviting me to grow? Because it's always involves some transformation in you in the process, even if you are the one that's giving the advice, you're giving the answers. I think the invitation there is to acknowledge where you got those answers.
Yeah.
Where you got the wisdom, knowing that you're not the author of it. Again, that's that posture of humbly honest, being humbly honest.
I think another thing too, and I this is like a technique that I use, and it's not like a technique, it's more of a conversational, like the way that I have conversations with people. But when I want to make a suggestion, to never frame it as a command or like, you better do this. Obviously, like, who talks like that? But still, there are some parents who talk like that. Sometimes I talk to Avila like that way. But when I'm presenting this to even like a client and I'm like, this has worked for me. So take it or leave it, but here. And then I just kind of give them and I give them the freedom to say yes or no. So that's like another way to be like, I'm right there with you. I've experienced this myself. So this has worked for me, and you get to take it or leave it.
Yeah. So that's humbly honest. The next one we have here, I love this one. Attentively affirming. Okay. And so again, if we're looking to make an impression, a positive impression that inclines somebody to behave a certain way, think a certain way, adopt certain values, one of the ways that we can do that is through affirmation. When we see them working in ways that are aligned with the behaviors, the values that we want to see continue, we can call that out, right? And so it's always this attentively affirming disposition. It's always looking for opportunities to affirm when somebody is living their life aligned with the true, good, and the beautiful.
Yeah. And I want to say this, as a parent, we are not saying that all you do is affirm, like that you never correct. Like, we're not saying that.
Sure.
But I do want to present this to you because I found myself do this. I will only correct and then I forget to affirm. And so if you just kind of looked at it as more of a 50-50, like, okay, so like I correct and I don't need to correct every single time, like every single thing, every single time. And then I equally affirm. So when I see something, I affirm it.
Yep. Yeah. That kind of, that echoes back to a book I cite often. I think Michael Smith was the author, Change the Culture, Change the Game. And there were 3 things that he said that really help you to solidify a culture in the workplace. And this certainly applies to family life or an organization that you're in, or your parish, your ministry, your community. There are 3 things. There's focused affirmation, which we're talking about right now, right? Looking for opportunities to affirm. There's focused feedback, which is what you just shared, where you see somebody acting in ways that are not aligned with behaviors that you want to see continue, that are part of the culture that you want. That's
a good reframe too. And it's not like focused correction, it's focused feedback.
Focused feedback, right? And so it's but that's an opportunity to not only say, stop doing this, but to represent the vision. For what you're inviting them to do. So it kind of goes back to even we talked about last time, that impartially inviting. Right. We always want to be inviting and giving them a vision to say yes to, right? Not just, and then the other one was focused storytelling. Right. So you tell stories of people that have done, been examples, right? And I think the church does this well with saints.
Yes, sure.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think some mindsets that block us from doing this and it's more of a focus, like, where is your focus going? Because the things that block us from that affirming or maybe overcorrecting is they're doing it wrong. It's like that thought. And guess what? When you think they're doing it wrong or they're not doing enough, you're going to find more evidence to that. So like what you look for, you find, right? And so when you keep focusing on where's the lack, that's what you're going to find.
I ran into this when I remember being a Marine, and just that was just kind of like my focus. I was always looking for opportunities to correct. And my first sergeant pulled me aside and said, "Hey, Ingold, when was the last time you gave an award to one of your Marines?" And I was just like, "It's been a long time." And it's just like, "Well, why should I reward them? Or all they are is doing their," and he's just like, "Well, have they done their job?" And I was like, "Yeah, some of them have." He goes, "Give those an award. Give them an award."
Yeah.
Like when you see somebody again doing, like, fulfilling the standard.
Yep.
That's not like, you can have the attitude of like, well, you're paid to do that, so
Yes.
you got your paycheck. That should be enough. Or you could make an example of them, put them on a pedestal, because there's plenty of people that don't fulfill the standard.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's not about just rewarding overachievements, but just somebody doing the small things.
Well,
That's something that's very powerful.
it's also like, who are you to determine what right or wrong is? Like, if you're doing it right or wrong, like, oh, like who are you to determine that? Like, maybe they are doing it differently too. And the only way you could know that is if you ask them, like, hey, just wanted to bring it back to like what we were both working towards. How are you pursuing this in your own way? Right?
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of times we put right and wrong and it's really just different. Wrong is different the way that then you would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even at our daughter's school, they've started giving out these reverence stickers, right? And so it's just when somebody is reverent at Mass, they do daily Mass. They
And
get a
she's like
sticker
in
the
first
book.
or
She's
second grade.
And so she takes it home, and it's an acknowledgement. But I mean, that is focused affirmation, right? And it starts to instill a culture, and I love seeing it. The people are in a posture looking for opportunities to use those stickers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Awesome. So, one of the other things here I've learned here with the focused affirmation is making sure, I'd say it's more impactful to affirm what I would call leading indicators than lagging indicators, right? You want an example of a leading indicator would be like, hey, great job with all the studying that you've been doing. Lagging indicator would be, you got the good grade. Right?
Yeah. So it's like after.
Affirm the behaviors that led to the good fruits.
I see.
Right? Yep. And
yeah, right. Exactly. Because it's like, it kind of doesn't matter. Like, if you studied, it doesn't really matter what, like, we can work on getting a better grade, but that's not where your identity is, or, just if you're character building just by doing the action. Yeah. I get that.
Yep. So yeah, mindsets that foster this, where's the opportunity to affirm them?
Yep.
Like, just asking that question.
Yeah. And you don't have to wait till the time where they're actually doing the thing. Like, you can actually think about this ahead of time. You can think about it in the morning. Like, if it's your kids and you're finding, oh, I'm overcorrecting them too much. Think about each kid. Lord, can you show me how to affirm this child? Like, where have I really seen them grow lately? And like, how can I just bring that up throughout the day?
Yeah. Yeah. And we've got, with kids, even on our free resources section of our our website, you can download a parents and temperament guide, right? It gives you a little bit of an insight as to how your kid, based on their temperament, actually likes to be affirmed. Because the things that you find affirming, right, they may not find as affirming or see as much value that's assigned to it. So even learning how to compliment or affirm your kids based on their unique design,
and if you're a coach, you can actually make specific times for intentional wins. So like, even in your coaching session, you can be like, right out of the gate, like, okay, name a win. And we had a coach who did that. So it was like, I love
do it
that.
in our community. We have Wednesday, and we call it every Wednesday. It's a Wednesday. Okay. So that's attentively affirming. Next, we have reverently receptive. And this one's a lot like compassionately curious. But what I really wanted to highlight with this is that when somebody comes to you, or they're acting a certain way that you don't necessarily want to see continue. It's starting off with that compassionate curiosity, but having that mindset that John Paul II would always have. Like, there's some approaching the person as a mystery.
Yeah.
Something is going on in them. God's grace is working in them. And choosing to be a student of what that grace might be, or how the Lord might be working through it, so that you can help the other person to see that as well, that can be something that's very, very powerful.
Yeah.
It also, with this posture, we're suspending judgment, right, for a season, right, to just hold the space for that compassionate curiosity here as well.
I do like in your notes here where it says the person as a mystery, seeing them as a mystery rather than a problem to be solved. And I do think as a coach, you can kind of go into those relationships as be like, you're the problem to be solved.
I got to fix you. Yeah. Yep.
Right. Which I think kind of brings about a lot of those mindsets that block this, where it's just like, I need to fix you. Or it's like, they need help. They need to be fixed. And then who else better than I, you know, like I need to fix them. So it kind of, when you're just sitting there and just being like, what if they don't, because like we are all broken, but like, what if it's not my job to fix them? What if it's just like, I'm trying to figure out a strategy for them? Like we have this goal and we're like trying to like mitigate areas where they're being held back and it's not them who's broken necessarily that you're there to fix, because Jesus does that. It's more, you're kind of helping them get there a little bit faster or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I went through this recently with a friend of mine who's since passed away. But when I was walking with him through rehab, and I noticed that when we were connecting for phone calls and we were catching up, that at first I was like, I don't know how to be, right? Do I put the coach hat on? And I remember praying and the Lord saying to me, just be a brother. That's it. Just be a brother. And there was something that was so freeing about letting go of this thought that I needed to fix him.
Yeah.
And just to honor where we were in the relationship and just love him. Like I just got to love him in some of those final days. And it really was a bit of a preparation for, the tragedy that happened, a few months later. But yeah, I was glad that the Lord invited me just into that being reverently receptive.
Yeah. And everybody wants to be received, They don't want to be thinking that they're a problem to be fixed.
Yeah.
They want to be a gift. And so just kind of allowing for them to be a gift to you.
This is also a helpful one, I find, when say you're trying to help somebody or you're trying to, influence somebody and all of a sudden they show up with very big emotions, right? Maybe they get angry or they start yelling.
They cry.
And you just see those big emotions. And again, that's just a great time to just kind of even let go of what you think, how the behavior might change and just be present to that emotion right there.
Yeah.
Or something, just holding the space for that is again, that starts to build the rapport. Usually those big emotions come about because there's a part of that person that they desire to be seen that maybe they don't think is being received.
Yeah. Yeah. That they've resisted or others have resisted in them.
Yeah. So even like seeing them, acknowledging what emotion that they're going through, that reverent receptivity is a way of really kind of just getting there and staying in that posture of virtuous influence. Some of the mindsets that can counter this, we already talked about, where it's like when you think you got to fix a person.
Yeah.
But the opposite effect, the ones that really can keep you in this place are, I like going back to those wonder statements like, oh man, I wonder what the Holy Spirit's doing in this person's life. Yeah. Because he loves this person way more than I do. And so he's at work. He's all of this stuff, the big emotions are, he's allowing this right now.
Yeah. I like for coaching, it's not my job to fix this person.
Right.
That's just a really good, just like a reminder that it's not your job. Yeah. And you're almost working as like you're like working as like a strategist. You're like, okay, we have this goal. It's a tangible goal that we're working towards together. So we're just mitigating those areas. I already talked about this. Those areas of stuckness.
Yep.
And I'm also kind of helping you hear God a little bit easier. Like, so I'm like acting as like almost like a relationship coach between you and God. So, but it's not my job to fix you. So I think that that's really helpful.
Yeah.
For me.
Again, when you see some of that behavior too, another thing that you taught me this one, Erin, is just like to approach this person and be like, this doesn't seem like them. Like kind of give them the benefit of the doubt, like something's going on.
Yeah.
What's going on? And even noticing like that comes out in your situation where it's just like, hey, what's going on right now? And not in like a, what's up with you kind of thing where it's just like defensive, but it's like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, I'm open. I'm here. Share, please.
Yeah. You better share. No,
Do it.
Kidding.
Do it, you dork. Okay.
That's opposite of our next one, which is patiently persevering.
This one's huge. Because I think when we lack this, it's very easy to step out of the zone of influence and step into the zone of manipulation.
Yeah, because rushing and urgency always comes from fear.
Yeah.
And then fear is like that zone of manipulation. It's like where you start to manipulate.
Right. And so this patiently persevering disposition, we're staying present and hopeful, even if it's taking a long time.
Yes.
Right. Even if change is slow. And it's just allowing, like trusting that grace is happening over time. And it's, I liken it to, the seed that's planted in the soil. You don't necessarily see anything for a very long time. It's all the change is happening in a very hidden place. And we can often get very impatient, waiting for the crops to grow, the fruit to grow, for the transformation to happen. Sometimes it takes a lifetime. It took St. Monica. She prayed for St. Augustine for 17 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time. But the funny thing is that, like, not only did he become a great saint through that, but also her sanctification was wrapped up in that whole, patiently persevering, waiting for her, apostate son or pagan son to embrace the faith.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Some mindsets that kind of get in the way of this are obvious. It might be obvious to you, but certainly lead to impatience. And this needs to happen like yesterday, or they should have already changed. And certainly those lead to impatience, but also they lead to entitlement. Like, well, yeah, it's about time. So like when it does happen, there's such a lack of ingratitude.
Or lack of gratitude. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Lack of gratitude. There's such ingratitude or lack of gratitude.
Yep.
And there's like kind of this, like teenager-esque way of being like, yeah, well, it should have already happened, and nobody wants to be that way.
I told you so, right? Should have listened to me years ago.
Yeah.
Should have listened to me 17 years ago, Augustine.
Right.
So, but this also starts to reveal where the Lord is inviting us to grow ourselves.
Yes.
Right? So when that impatience shows up, maybe it's revealing that one of those benevolent boundaries you put in place wasn't so benevolent. It wasn't so for the sake of the other, right? Maybe that impartial invitation had some strings attached to it. Right. And this is good news. This is, again, we're falling now into this posture of the honest humility, that humble honesty, right? Humbly honest. That's it. And just recognizing it's like, oh, okay, Lord, you got work for me to do. Don't be surprised by it. Expect it. It's one of the reasons why the Lord has invited you into the relationship with the person and put the desire on your heart to see them use their freedom better. Yeah. To help them change for the good.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, with this, also some mindsets that can foster this patiently persevering disposition. God wants this for my own purification and growth.
Yeah.
Right. Just always looking at that. God's timing is perfect.
Yeah. That might be hard for some people. I like the one where it's like, I'd rather this take longer and be permanent versus a quick shift. And then it's like the seed that falls on,
superficial.
what is it? Seed that falls on the hard soil?
Yeah, the shallow
soil. Yeah.
or the
right. Like I'd rather it take longer and just stick versus not.
Yep.
Which it's like, that's like more logical too. So like a lot of these changes do take a little bit longer, but
this is something also I think going back and having a little bit of a reflection in humble honesty of, okay, what have been some of the transformations that I've experienced in my life? How long did that take?
Sure.
Right. And so just again, and also surrendering the timing.
I would also say what changes have occurred so far. So really kind of going back intentionally and being like grateful in those moments.
Measure success looking back, not necessarily how far they have to go, but just celebrating the gains already.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. This last one is the one I love and I hate the most because I just think it's a beautiful disposition. Okay. And we're all going to be called into this disposition at some points. And perhaps you already have, and but arguably this disposition is the most powerful posture that we could enter into to really affect change for the good in somebody else. Yeah. Right. And it's called sanctifyingly surrendered. You can see where we're going here.
We
probably
tricked
right
you guys into it. Now this is the final one. No, I'm just kidding.
The cross.
This is actually like surprisingly for me, like when I really got this, I was like, wow, this is actually, it still sucks, but it doesn't suck as much as it used to when there was resistance.
Well, there's clean pain.
Yes.
Right.
Clean pain
versus dirty pain. Okay. So like say my have a child that's apostatized, right? They've left the faith. They've renounced the faith, right? A clean pain would be the deep sorrow that you feel for them for having turned away from the one true faith, right? Dirty pain would be
being mad and
I think that I can somehow change their mind, right? I think I can go into their brain and I can manipulate their thoughts, right?
Or just taking it out on them, like taking it out on them, taking it out on everybody else. It's just an unprocessed and
fuels
reasonable pain, right?
Fuels a resentment. It's, an exercise in futility, an exercise in despair because you're trying to do something that you can't do. You can't control their thoughts or the decisions that they make. That's dirty pain. Okay. And those are crosses that aren't given to us. Those are crosses that we fashion for ourselves. Okay? Yes. We're meant to
on
shed those, right? Because the Lord's yoke is easy, right? And it's still painful, that suffering that is there of the sorrow, but it's clean and it's redemptive and it can be appropriated to the suffering of Jesus.
Okay, let's explain what this is. Yeah. So sanctifyingly surrendered is recognizing our inability to change the others when they are using their freedom poorly. And then uniting honest sorrow, because guys, sorrow is at the core of every emotion we don't want to have. Sorrow is it. It's like literally the definition of it is like when an evil is upon you right now, and then uniting that honest sorrow with Christ on the cross or during his passion or during some time of his life. So just uniting it with his sorrow, his pain, his suffering. And Christ did feel sorrow. He felt all the emotions, but they were consequent, meaning they were reasonable, or they had surrendered or
they're ordered to reason.
Subjugated under reason.
Yes.
And they were kind of chosen. So he felt consequent passions or consequent emotions, and we feel antecedent a lot. And so that's why we think, okay, the Lord doesn't feel emotions. He just felt them differently.
No, he felt them. He
felt them deeply.
He wept over Jerusalem, right?
Yes.
He wept over Lazarus. Like the Lord has experienced sorrow. And so what happens
is clean pain.
There's that clean sorrow. It becomes an invitation to experience a part of the Lord in that emotion, right? It's an invitation there. And there's something that happens when you're experiencing sorrow and you're no longer by yourself.
Oh my gosh. It's so healing. But also like it's such a place of something that's really, really beautiful about it is I always go back to Saint Therese talking about consoling Jesus's heart, and really just consoling his heart by being present with him. But imagine being present with him in the Passion when he is feeling similarly, but way more than you. But you can console him by being with him.
Yes.
Which is like very humbling and kind of awkward if you're not used to that language, but still there's something so powerful in it, and you can see the meaning behind it. Viktor Frankl talks about how sorrow and pain without meaning is like the worst thing ever. It's despair. It's like, you know,
what's the point?
Right. What is the point?
There's no meaning.
There is no meaning there. And it actually is like, anyway. So, but what happens when you actually unite your pain with Christ, he consoles you, you console him in that moment. And there's meaning in it. And then there's a union in it. And it's beautiful.
That union is a foretaste of heaven.
Yes.
And that union brings heaven on earth. And again, what transforms the person is when Christ in you shows up and encounters that person, right? An encounter with Christ always leaves somebody transformed.
Yeah.
And so this is a very real way that you can bring the cross, the sacrifice on Calvary, very presently here in this person's life. You know, when we don't do this, we don't appropriate our suffering to Christ. Rather, we often settle for commiserating with our friends, or
we try to numb away from it. We do a number of different things, but we never. I'm like, I was actually just coaching somebody on this, and I was coaching one of our coaches, and very much it was clean pain like that this person was dealing with towards a loved one. And I just was like, first, just like honor that this is clean. I'm sure there's like little things in there and you could probably be nitpicky about it, but bring that pain to the Lord, ask the Lord when he has been sad or sorrowful of like losing somebody or having somebody not choose the greatest good for themselves. You know, he knew that probably better than anybody. And yeah, like I actually, it's funny that this came up because I actually gave this person that as a assignment to do in prayer.
Appropriate their suffering to Christ.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. So some of the mindsets that can take us out of this sanctifyingly surrendered disposition.
I think it's okay. Can I just do this one?
Sure. I got some. Yeah.
Surrendering is hard.
Okay.
And the way I would approach that is, okay, but so is like processing or not processing your emotions and like not processing them where they need to go, which is with Jesus.
Yeah. For me, it's, I can fix this or there has to be something else I could do. And that was drilled into me in the military. Like there's always something else that you can do. And the reality is that sometimes it's no. Sometimes this one can only be cast out through prayer and fasting.
Yeah, one of the things I'm writing the drill workbook right now, the advanced drills, and there is a whole drill that's like on this actual like how to take somebody through this process. Yep. And one of the two things that like how to find which emotion to bring to this is like the sorrow. It's like, it's got to be factual. It means that it needs to have happened like in real life or it is happening. You're not like embellishing it, but then also it has to be unavoidable. Like you have, I don't know, a diagnosis of cancer or whatever. And it's like, you have to face this right now. And in some cases we face that as coaches, we face this unavoidable thing. And it's like, okay, there is nothing else we can do besides appropriate your emotions to the Lord. And so often I wish I had done it right out of the gate, actually right in the beginning, because I'm like, wow, that was really powerful. So what else are we going to talk about in the session? Yep. Because the Lord shows up. It's really beautiful. So it can turn into a really unitive experience. And so wrapping up here, I'd love to hear, Erin, like what we talked about a prayer. Yeah. A prayer that somebody could follow, or a formula to enter into the sanctifyingly surrendered disposition. Yeah. So, as the influencer or the person in influence, you could ask the Lord, can you show me or tell me? It kind of depends on like your prayer language and the way that you receive from the Lord. But Lord, can you show me a time where you felt this way, where you felt frustration of somebody not choosing their greatest good from your life? Bring me to that place. And then go there in your imagination in prayer with him. Like, bring me to that place and talk to him and be like, what are you thinking about them? Like, how are you dealing with this in such a cool way? Like, just give me your mind and your eyes to see them and your ears to hear them and your heart to love them. Like, I want that. I want to be able to surrender this. And also just, I don't know. It's very powerful.
I immediately think of, the scripture of the rich young man that walks away sad, or John 6:66, right? Where the bread of life discourse and all these people just walked away and they never followed him after that. And he says, turns to his apostles and said, are you going to leave too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So folks, invite you to just enter into that beautiful prayer. Wrapping up here, just kind of summing it, we've got 5 new dispositions. Those were humbly honest, right? Attentively affirming, reverently receptive, patiently persevering, and then my favorite, sanctifyingly surrendered. Okay. Again, all of these things take your greatest desires to help somebody else to make decisions that are really aligned with their greatest good, right? For their good, and do it in a way that allows you to be transformed in the process. And for the process, even between you, the person to be so respectful, honoring their freedom, enhancing your relationship, but also enhancing your relationship with the Lord. Like, there is a win-win-win potential we have in front of us here.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
All right, guys, take it or leave it.
Yeah. Hope this has helped you. Please like and subscribe. We're going to be continuing to put out more content like this. And happy influencing, virtuous influencing. All right. Blessings.
Bye, guys.
Hey, thanks for sticking with us in the Catholic Coaching Podcast. If you like what you heard,
please like and subscribe, and we'll see you again.